Hello everyone. Today our group will focus on the long-term economic growth, compare and analyze the Solo model and the Roman model, and explore why South Korea has achieved faster economic growth than the Philippines. First of all, the importance of economic growth is self-evident. It not only improves people's living standards and reduces poverty, but also enhances a country's global competitiveness. However, why do some countries grow faster? This is the core question to our research. By comparing the Solo model and the Roman model, we found that there are significant differences between the two in terms of growing drivers, technology sources, and policy impacts. The Solo model emphasizes the role of capital, labor, and external technology, believes that technology is exogenous. Policy impact is limited to the short term, and capital returns will gradually decrease, eventually leading to income convergence among countries. The Roman model regards innovation, R&D, and human capital as core drivers. Technology is endogenous, and policies can have long-term or even permanent effects. More importantly, knowledge accumulation may bring about increasing returns on capital, leading to differences in growth results. Countries with strong innovation capability may widen the gap with other countries.
Hello everyone, let's start by looking at the Solo growth model, which was introduced in the 1950s by Robert Solow. This model explains economic growth based on three main inputs: capital, labor, and technology. But there's one big assumption that technology comes from outside the system. In other words, is exogenous. As shown in the graph on the right, the Solo model suggests diminishing returns to capital. This means adding more machines or buildings won't lead to unlimited growth. Output increases at a slower rate. Eventually, without new technology, the economy reaches what's called a steady state, where growth slows down. And finally, policy in the Solo model can only impact the short-term level of output, not the long-term growth rate. That's a major limitation. In contrast, the rumor growth model developed in the 1990s changes how we think about growth. Rumor believes growth comes from within the economy. That means technology is endogenous. It is produced by human actions such as education, research, development, and knowledge creation. You can see from the chart that the right side shows. Education and R&D feed into knowledge creation, which drives innovation and in turn leads to sustained economic growth. Another key point Rumor makes is that ideas are non-rival. Many people can use the same idea without reducing its value. And because of knowledge spillovers, innovation can spread across society and multiply its effects. This is why Rumor's model allows policy to have a permanent impact on long-run growth, especially through investment in human capital. Now let's directly compare the two models. The Solo model focuses on capital, labor, and external technology, but it assumes technology just happens, and that policy has little role in shaping long-term outcomes. In contrast, Rumor's model puts innovation, R&D, and education at the center. Growth is something countries can build. Rumor also introduces concepts like knowledge spillovers, which allow innovation to scale across society. If we look at the real world, Rumor's theory better explains why countries like South Korea has grown so rapidly and why others like the Philippines have not. In short, rumor empowers policy. It tells us we can actually shape growth through education and the innovation system. Let's now apply what we've learned to a real-world comparison. South Korea and the Philippines. In the 1960s, both countries had similar income levels, but today, their growth outcomes are completely different. South Korea spends 4.9% of its GDP on research and development, and over 70% of young adults have completed tertiary education. The country supports a strong innovation ecosystem with major players like Samsung and LG, and has long-term stable industrial policies. As shown in the photo, this is Samsung's AI Research Center. It's a clear reflection of the rumor model in action. In contrast, the Philippines spends less than 0.3% of its GDP on R&D. The education system is uneven, especially in rural areas, and its innovation infrastructure is weak. The classroom photo you see here highlights the basic conditions that many students still face. With frequent policy changes and limited institutional support, the Philippines hasn't been able to translate potential into growth. These two cases show exactly what rumors model predicts. When you invest in knowledge, you grow, and when you don't, you fall behind.
In conclusion, the solo growth model reveals the fundamental role of capital and labor in economic growth, but regard technological progress as an exogenous variable. The breakthrough contribution of Romer's endogenous growth theory is to incorporate technological innovation, human capital and knowledge spillovers into the endogenous driving force of economic growth. The cooperative empirical evidence of South Korea and the Philippines shows that only by continuously increasing R&D investment, it is recommended to account for more than 3% of GDP. Giving priority to the development of the education system and building an innovation ecosystem can high-quality economic development be achieved. This provides a clear path of developing countries to break through the growth bottleneck. Economic growth requires not only the accumulation of factors, but also the internalization of scientific technological innovation as a core driving force. So institutional design. Okay, that's all our group presentation. Thank you for your watching.